2 words, Revo Fitness. Here's a few more. Simple, 24/7, reformer Pilates, body scanners, massage chairs, squat racks, free weights, pin and plate loaded equipment, no lock-in contracts, no bullshit. All of that and more from just $9.69 a week. That's surprisingly affordable. Join now at Revo Fitness O'Connor or download the Revo Fitness app. RevoFitness.com.au or find the Revo Fitness app in the App Store.
This is Shaun Sport in podcast form.
Well, there's been a lot happening in world athletics, particularly from an Australian point of view, and we're all up and about over Gout and the dominance he's had so far this summer.
The schoolboy, you mean?
Yes. God, starting for year 12 and everything. We thought we'd catch up with our mate from Brisbane, our counterpart in Lutzy. He knows everything about world athletics.
Yes, knows everything about everything.
Lutzy, good morning.
Can you hear me, guys?
Yes, we can, Lutzy.
You can? Okay, well, it's I don't know how it's working, but I can hear you in the background, so it's good enough. But how exciting. Have you been across World Indoors?
Yes.
Oh, we wanted to talk to you about this. Actually, Nat brought it to my attention yesterday.
Because apparently we had our best medal haul of ever.
Yeah, it was. It was quite phenomenal. I'll tell you what, it's just... Matt Shervington said something the other day which made me think, holy mackerel, what's happening here? He said that this year, 3 Aussies will run under 10 seconds for the 100 metres, which is because I know Gout's been getting some incredible headlines, and rightly so, because the guy's an absolute juggernaut, as you guys probably know. He ran under 20 seconds at the Queensland state titles the other day, and it just every time he runs, you can see he's evolving, he's growing a bit, getting stronger, getting more confident as well, which is so great. So that stands alone as being. I just can't wait to see what he does this year with World Championships in Tokyo in September. But then you've got these guys breaking the 4x100 metre Australian record in Sydney 2 weeks ago. And keep in mind that they blitzed this world record, the Australian record, which traditionally has been Matt Shervington, Patrick Johnson, these sorts of guys that set these records.
Adam Basil,
Paul DeBella. This is the guys that we know. The great Baz, what a great man!
He's a great man. It's a great man.
I've had some loose nights with him. Oh my God.
Mate, hey, Lutzy, just jump in. He was working at Freo with my footy team for a couple of years.
Yeah, he was working the AFL system, and we had a great night in Seville after World Champs one year, but that's probably for a podcast or something less mainstream. But the point is that I think that the 4 guys that broke that Australian 4x1 record are probably only in the top 8 sprinters we have at the moment. Yes. There was no Gout, obviously. Rowan Browning was up at the Queensland titles. He didn't even run in that team. So at the moment, he ran 10.12 at the Queensland titles. And then, of course, you've got this other fella that's been so low on the radar, a guy called Lockie Kennedy that lives up here in Brisbane, that pops out a 60-metre specialist. He takes second at the World Indoor titles last week. But this guy runs an incredible 100 metres as well. He'll go sub-10 this year as well. Oh. It is happening everywhere. And then, of course, you've got the middle distance girls that we saw dominate last year as well over the last 18 months. It's happening everywhere, and I think we're on the verge of a golden era leading up to LA 2028 and then, of course, Brisbane 2032.
Amazing.
Lutzy, what do you reckon is the reason behind this spike in performance? Because we saw World Athletics give money for medals for the first time ever in Paris. Do you think that's kind of an incentive now for some of these athletes?
Look, I honestly think that Sebastian Coe, who's the head of World Athletics, has had such an amazing impact. Even for me, like I've always been a track and field nut, but I kind of drifted away. Life gets the better of you sometimes. You drift away into other areas. But since Sebastian Coe's been in charge, I think he's really galvanised the sport on a world stage. As you said, brought prize money in. And I think social media, for all its demons, has actually given athletes a platform to be able to present themselves and their personalities out to fans in a way that they never have really before. So I think the smart athletes have taken control of that as well. And on top of that, I think locally, And this happened in the lead up to Sydney, obviously, the 7-year lead into Sydney when Sydney was announced in 1993 as the venue for the 2000 Games.
Yep.
I think it's undeniable, and I've noticed this thing a lot in Brisbane. I'd love to see if you guys are seeing it on a domestic level in Perth as well. Just the number of athletes that since it's been almost 4 years now since Brisbane was named as the 2032 host of the Olympic Games, already, and particularly in Brisbane, we're seeing athletes like Tori Lewis and Gout and Terrell Thorne. There's a bunch of them that it's undeniable that we are already seeing the impacts of a home Olympics being named.
Yeah.
I think we're
On
going to
that,
see
and I know
more
that-
of that over the next 2 or 3 years.
I know, Lutzy, that you have some sway with the Brisbane Olympic Committee. They look to you for guidance.
straight.
Is there any chance we could get the 60-metre sprint on the agenda, seeing we're good at it? What about that?
Well, it's not the craziest thing. I mean, I don't think you can rule anything out with the Olympics right now. We like obviously breakdancing was one and done in Paris. We've got
That went
flag
well.
football and a bunch of other things popping in for LA.
Lacrosse?
Brisbane is still yet to decide on the one sport that we can add.
Yes.
I don't know. What do you guys think?
I reckon
Yeah, Seabass is all about netball, obviously, as an Australian netballer.
I think cricket will get a Guernsey.
Well, cricket will be in because crickets are in for 2028. I reckon it stays. I think netball is a very strong call. Number one, we're very good at it.
Yeah.
Second, the game, you could argue, globally is getting stronger as well. There's enough teams to make it, a 12, the top 12 nations would be competitive. I think netball's a really strong call.
I would argue, though, it can't be netball as it's played now. It's probably going to be that fast 5 version, which is almost like 3-on-3 basketball.
Yeah.
Less players on the court, more high money shots and things
But
like
why,
that.
though? Because the proper basketball is in there as well.
Yeah, I don't know. I think just more exciting, maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah,
Well, you've got to build a really strong, strong argument for it. But again, you look at the possibilities that have been floating through after breakdancing being the obvious one, where you could argue Australia kind of put a line through that forever, didn't we?
no doubt.
I don't know what you're talking about.
We ended it in one foul swoop.
What did we do? Was it us?
That's amazing. That's a good talk topic. I mean, what did you rule for everyone else?
For everybody, yeah.
Write that down, Lutzy.
Hey, Lutzy, the National Athletics Championships are coming to Perth, which is exciting. And people are, Gout, he's still a kid. We need to, manage our expectations around that. But he is getting people who don't normally go to athletics excited about athletics. That's good for the sport, yeah?
It's certainly on a level that we honestly, the only other parallel you can draw or comparison is Cathy Freeman and LEP 2000. I don't know if you watched that Channel 7 Spotlight show on Sunday. They had an hour-long documentary on Gout, which it was done really well in the essence of it. It really did capture the nature of the young kid. He's a very respectful young kid. His talent, and we're in this sort of no man's land at the moment where we're going, protect the kid. But on the flip side of that is on the 29th of December this year, he turns 18.
Yeah.
So you look at the way we've handled swimmers over the years. We've had 14, 15, 16-year-old swimmers who have been thrust into the limelight purely off the back of their performances and being, world champions or world record times. It is undeniable right now that he's, the fastest 200-metre runner that our nation has ever seen. Will quite possibly, in an event which technically isn't even his, and the 100 metres come out this year and do something pretty phenomenal as well. It is undeniable now that this kid has a spotlight on him and that we have to take notice of him. And just at that Queensland titles, I think the crowd went from being what is usually 500 to about 3,000 out at Cusack in Brisbane to watch him. Every television network had a camera there. And the most important part of all this is that it's the first time since we've been named as the Olympic host here in Brisbane that there's literally been legions of kids lining up to get autographs and selfies with this kid. And that's the part that I think that as you say, it's transcending the sport. It transcends athletics, but it transcends sport. People are talking about it in pubs. Like it's got energy around it that again we haven't seen probably since pre-2000 for the Cathy Freeman.
Yeah, and big news going to happen in Queensland today when they unveil that you are going to build a new stadium. Thank God. And you know
I've got some extra anxiety around this. I believe that we're going to get a 60 to 65,000 stadium, which will put us in Perth territory.
Yes,
because we were languishing behind you with the fantastic new facility you guys have over there. But there's a whole lot of stuff being noticed today. But it's the first time when I think for the first day today I'll be able to have a beer down at Howe Smith Wharves this afternoon and say, finally the politicians are letting this go and letting people build, which will allow the people of Brisbane and also of Australia to start getting excited about the fact that we have an Olympics here in just over 7 years.
And
which
a great
we just
venue
haven't
beyond.
had the opportunity to do that yet because politicians have still been messing around with it.
Totally agree with you, mate. Lutzy, we really appreciate your insight on the athletes.
Yeah.
We can't wait for the Australian titles.
And you're coming over to that. Yep, we're going to catch up with you when you're here.
Come in, my
I'm
brother.
not going to come in live because it'll be at 3 a.m. Brisbane time, but I'm going to do my own show and then I'm going to come in and see you guys, whether you want me or not.
Try and keep him away. We want you. Thanks, Lutzy.
See you guys.
Shaun Sport in podcast form.
2 words, Revo Fitness. Here's a few more. Simple, 24/7, Reformer Pilates, body scanners, massage chairs, squat racks, free weights, pin and plate loaded equipment, no lock-in contracts, no bullshit. All of that and more from just $9.69 a week. That's surprisingly affordable. Join now at Revo Fitness O'Connor or download the Revo Fitness app. RevoFitness.com.au or find the Revo Fitness app in the App Store.
Footy is officially back in this season. The place to watch AFL live on Saturdays on Fox Footy, available on KAYO Sports. Every round with no ad breaks during play. We're going to catch up with a former West Coast Fever champion, an Australian netball legend, Cathy Cox. Hey, Kath.
Good morning, team.
How are you? Up and about?
Oh, so good. I have been up since the wee hours. I don't know how you do breakfast television, guys. Hats off to you.
Oh, we do breakfast radio, but still same.
Oh, sorry. See, this is my
It's early.
point. I was up so early, I don't know what day it is.
Kath, if we had to get up and put makeup on in the morning and do her
True.
hair, that would be an absolute disaster.
Oh, you're already beautiful. You don't need to.
Well said. Well said.
well noted. Thank you, Kat.
Hey, Kath, the Super Netball season launch is on Thursday, isn't it? You'll be there for that, won't you?
I will be front and centre. I cannot wait. So Netball Australia is hosting the launch, the media launch. There's a big lunch prior and then there's going to be a media call to announce the season. It's 11 sleeps away, 12 sleeps away for your West Coast Fever girls. They get a home game to kick off against the New South Wales Swifts, which will be an absolute cracker. That's almost the match of the round.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, the Fever did very well in the Team Girls Cup, which is the pre-season tournament. Went going down by 1 in the grand final. So, which is and that's a tournament you don't want to win because historically the winner of that tournament doesn't go on to take out the title. So we're looking good, right?
You're looking so good. It's funny, though, I spoke to Dan Ryan, your head coach of the Fever, just before that and said, what about this hoodoo? And he goes, these things are meant to be broken, aren't they? We're going for the win. I thought, that's the attitude. No, but the team is looking good in the absence of Janelle Fallon.
Yeah.
I've got to say, Olivia Wilkinson was
She stood
brilliant.
up, yeah.
Yeah, she was amazing, and she's going to be an absolute superstar of the future, that one.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it. When you are watching the Super Netball season, you've played for a number of teams. How do you pick a team to go for?
Oh, look, it's easy for me this year. I've actually gone early and I've called the New South Wales Swifts for the premiership, but I don't know who they're going to be playing in this final. They've just recruited so well in the off-season. They're looking strong. They didn't make that TGC Cup final, though, so who knows? Things can certainly be shaken up, but that's why it's such a great game for the West Coast Fever to start with. I think it's going to give everyone a really good understanding of where they're at.
Absolutely. Now, Kath, you've been following the footy at all? Do you know, and do you have a team?
Yeah, look, I'm gobsmacked you even started with the netball, given there's a derby over there this weekend. That's all you guys worry about, isn't it? But it's going to be a cracker, isn't it? I mean, it's spicy at the best of times, but given both sides are winless, and someone is finally going to get some points and start their season off the right way, this is going to be a cracker.
I don't think anybody expected at the beginning of the season just a few weeks ago that this would be the scenario going into the Derby.
I don't know, Nat. I don't know. I reckon from my point of view, being a Freo guy, obviously, I would have thought they were a huge chance to start 0-2. Absolute huge chance because you're playing Geelong away.
Yeah.
That was going to be a big one. And I always knew the flip of the coin was going to be the Sydney Swans game, either way. And Sydney have beaten Freo a number of times. And But it does make
Why are
it
you
spicy. Because it was 3 points. 3 points. Could have kick-started our game.
I know.
We're on the back
Spicy
foot.
is a good word for it, though, isn't
Yes.
it? Like, and both sides in decent form as well. I think just, really struggled to hold out sides last week, but it doesn't mean that this isn't going to be an absolute blockbuster. So, woo!
Yeah,
So who's your team, Kath?
Yeah, who do you back for?
Who's your
Kath?
team?
We don't need to talk about the Swans and their terrible start to the season, guys.
Well, they got the chocolates yesterday.
Yeah, exactly.
2 days ago, the bastards.
I'm looking forward to the bye this week.
Can regroup.
I hate to rehash bitter memories, but did you go to the grand final last year, Kath?
Do you know, I was prepared to sell my firstborn for tickets to the game. I couldn't get them, and in the light of day, that was probably a good thing.
Fate looked after you.
They did. It's always great to have your team in the final, isn't it? It doesn't happen that often. But I was looking for a strong start to the season, which is going to start in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, and Kath, the biggest sports news going around in WA just broke a few minutes ago here is that Bryce Cotton it's announced he's leaving the Perth Wildcats, which I'm getting emotional just thinking about it, after 9 seasons, the best import that's ever played in this country, an extraordinary talent. Do you follow the NBL and are you devastated for us?
Oh, yeah, look, I am devastated because you don't get that sort of superstar on our shores very often, and for the fact that he stayed around for so long. How good was the grand final series, though? Just
amazing.
Amazing. Truly an incredible series.
The Hawks get up after 24 years of waiting. Brilliant way to finish the season.
Yeah, you know what? That NBL semi-final series between the Cats and Melbourne United was ridiculous anyway.
And it could have gone either way at the end,
And then to back it up with a final series that went the way it did to 5 games, the NBL would be wrapped.
Yeah,
and I hope they get more money. I hope they get more money so the competition keeps growing.
Yes. Yep, for sure.
And this is where I want to see the netball. I would love us to have a final series. The grand final is just such a good product. We've got to see more of it.
Yeah, I agree.
That'd be good.
Let's make it happen, Kath.
Let's work on that.
Yeah, we're all on board. Thanks, Kath.
Good on you, Coxie.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate
Take
it.
care.
New to KO, everyone. Visit kayosports.com.au and get on board today.
Shaun Sport is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcast.com.au.
2 words, Revo Fitness. Here's a few more. Simple, 24/7, reformer Pilates, body scanners, massage chairs, squat racks, free weights, pin and plate loaded equipment, no lock-in contracts, no bullshit. All of that and more from just $9.69 a week. That's surprisingly affordable. Join now at Revo Fitness O'Connor or download the Revo Fitness app. RevoFitness.com.au or find the Revo Fitness app in the App Store.